week, our spotlight has been on North Carolina. The Tar Heel state is less of a bellwether compared to other swing states, but 8 of the last 12 North Carolina winners ultimately ended up in the White House. So this is a crucial state in this election. It's hard, though, right now to focus on the election because of the devastation that has been caused by Hurricane Helene. More than 80,000 customers still do not have power. Their top concern is not the election, but it's getting the lights back on and a roof over their head and searching for those who remain missing. Here now is Carrie Levine, managing editor of Votebeat. It's a nonprofit news organization reporting on voting access and election administration across the U.S. Thank you so much, Carrie, for being with us. Tell me about access to voting and how that is being addressed right now with the challenges they're facing amid the storm damage.
Right. Thanks for asking that. It's so important to talk about the fact that the election is going to go on. And North Carolina state election officials have been very clear about that. They will find a way to let people in these affected counties vote. And they've taken some emergency steps to allow at least 13 of these counties to move polling places if they have to accept absentee ballots a little differently if they have to take steps to make it easier. They are also putting up a special website for voters affected by Helene. It's ncsbe.org/Helene. And they're encouraging people to go there and look at the latest information because the situation on the ground is changing very quickly. They have been able to confirm that their voting equipment, the ballots, they're safe, they're secure. They made it through the storm. And at this point, they're saying that all county election boards are up and running, and they're figuring out how they're going to pull off this election in this part of the state.
So there is some good news in there. Transportation is another one of those extra steps that they're taking that you talked about. What does that look like between now and Election Day to assist with voter turnout?
So obviously, a lot of roads in this part of the state were damaged by the storm, and it's not clear when some of them will be online, especially in some of these smaller towns, some of these smaller roads, rural areas. And part of what they're doing is figuring out a way to make voting accessible to people that are affected by this. They are making sure that polling sites continue to be accessible. If not, they will move them. And they are also looking at sending out kind of bipartisan teams of people, multi-partisan teams, to handle requests for absentee ballots at shelters where displaced people are. They're looking to make voting as possible as they can for people who are affected by this storm and who may be having trouble accessing their normal voting spaces.
I know, Carrie, a lot of times we can track our ballot if you vote absentee. Do we know at all if ballots have been lost or damaged by the storms and some of the washed out roads?
So North Carolina sent out ballots, absentee mail ballots, a little later than they had planned, in part because there was a lawsuit over whether RFK Jr.'s name would be on the ballot in North Carolina. And so that meant some ballots had to be reprinted, and that slowed the distribution. They went out a little later than planned. What election officials are saying is that people who had requested a ballot didn't receive it because there's not mail service, or it was damaged or lost somehow in transit or in the storm, can notify their county election board. Those ballots can be canceled. New ballot can be reissued and sent. People can also come into their boards of election. They can request absentee ballots, go through all the normal verification processes and fill it out there. So there's some steps that they're taking to deal with any absentee ballots that were lost in transit or damaged.
Yeah. Layers to the process to help it go as smoothly as possible given the devastation they're facing. Carrie, thanks for updating us. Appreciate it. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.